I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. If you clicked on this video, something in your gut already knows. You're not here out of curiosity. You're here because you felt it. That cold, creeping suspicion that you're not the only man in her life anymore. And let me tell you something that might hurt. Your gut is rarely wrong. We've been conditioned to dismiss our instincts, to rationalize, to make excuses. She's just stressed. I'm being insecure. She would never do that to me. But your subconscious picks up on things your conscious mind refuses to see. The micro-expressions, the energy shifts, the tiny inconsistencies that don't add up. Your body knows before your brain accepts it. So if you're here with that knot in your stomach, that weight on your chest, that question you're afraid to ask, listen closely. Today, I'm revealing 3 indicators that usually mean another man has entered the picture. These aren't paranoid theories. These aren't jealous fantasies. These are patterns I've seen repeated so many times that they've become almost predictable. And here's what makes them dangerous. Each one on its own seems explainable, innocent, easy to dismiss. But when you see them together, when all 3 show up in the same relationship, that's not coincidence anymore. That's confirmation. Pay attention to indicator number 3, because that's the one she thinks she's hiding perfectly, and most men never catch it until they're staring at proof they wish they'd never found. Let's rip off the bandage. Indicator number 1. A new name appears, then disappears. This is often the first crack in the wall. There's a new person in her stories, someone she mentions casually. Almost too casually. Marcus from work said the funniest thing today. I was talking to this guy Daniel at the gym and he recommended, "My friend's brother Jake was at the party. He's actually really interesting." At first you don't think anything of it. People meet new people. She has coworkers, acquaintances, friends of friends. That's normal. But then something shifts. You notice this name keeps coming up. Marcus, Daniel, Jake, whoever it is, he's woven into her stories more than feels natural. She quotes him, she references his opinions, she laughs about something he said, and then, just as suddenly, the name vanishes. She stops mentioning him entirely. You bring him up and she's dismissive. "Oh, I don't really talk to him anymore." Or worse, she acts confused, like she barely remembers who you're referring to. But here's what's actually happening. The name disappeared because she realized she was saying it too much. She caught herself. She saw your face when she mentioned him for the 5th time that week. And she course-corrected. He didn't go anywhere. He just went underground. Now he exists in text threads you don't see. In conversations that happen when you're not around. In the parts of her life she's learned to keep separate from you. I talked to a man once who told me his wife had a coworker named Ryan. Ryan came up constantly for about 2 months. Ryan thinks this. Ryan did that. Ryan and I grabbed lunch. Then one day, nothing. Ryan was never mentioned again. 6 months later, he found messages on her laptop. Hundreds of them. The relationship with Ryan hadn't ended when the name disappeared. That's when it had really begun. The vanishing name isn't a sign that the other man left her life. It's a sign he became important enough to hide. And that's just the beginning. The second indicator cuts even deeper. Indicator number 2. She becomes obsessed with her phone at specific times. You already know her phone habits have changed. We've talked about that. But this is different. This is about timing. Watch when she reaches for her phone with urgency. Watch when her attention suddenly snaps away from you and toward that screen. Watch when she excuses herself to check something or respond to a message. Is it random, or is there a pattern? Because here's what happens when another man exists. He has a schedule. He has windows of availability. Maybe he's also in a relationship and can only text when his partner is asleep. Maybe he works certain hours and reaches out on his lunch break. Maybe they've established routines. Good morning messages, end-of-day check-ins. And she knows those windows. She anticipates them. So at 7:15 a.m., she's suddenly glued to her phone while making coffee. At 12:30 p.m., she steps away from lunch with you to call her mom. At 11 p.m., she's scrolling in bed with an intensity that wasn't there before. The timing is the tell. It's not just that she's on her phone more. It's that she's on her phone more at specific, predictable moments. Moments that correspond to someone else's life, someone else's schedule. And watch her face during these windows. Does she smile at the screen in a way she doesn't smile at you anymore? Does she type fast, eager, engaged? Does she seem lighter when she's in that world, and heavier when she returns to yours? There's a phenomenon psychologists call emotional anticipation. When we're connected to someone, we start to organize our internal state around contact with them. We look forward to it. We prepare for it. We feel a shift when that moment approaches. If she's experiencing emotional anticipation around her phone at specific times, she's not waiting for a work email. She's waiting for him. And she doesn't even realize how obvious it is. The rhythm of her attention has synced with someone else's life, and you're watching it happen in real time, even if you don't have the full picture yet. But this final indicator, this is the one that confirms everything, and it's the one she believes is completely invisible. Indicator number 3. Her attitude toward you changes after private moments. This is the pattern that most men miss entirely, and it's the most revealing one of all. Pay attention to how she treats you after she's been alone with her phone, after she's come back from a suspicious errand, after she returns from girls' night or working late. Is she warmer or colder? Because here's the psychology of what's happening. When a woman is emotionally involved with another man, her feelings toward you become unstable. They fluctuate based on what's happening in that other relationship. If things are good with him, if they've just had an exciting conversation, if he's made her feel desired, if the forbidden thrill is peaking, she might come home irritated by you, annoyed, critical. Suddenly, everything you do is wrong. You're chewing too loud. You're asking too many questions. You're just there, in the way. She's comparing, and you're losing. But sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes she comes home sweeter than she's been in months. Affectionate, attentive, maybe even physical in ways that feel unfamiliar. And you think things are improving. You think whatever rough patch you were in has passed. But here's the dark truth. That sweetness, that sudden warmth, it might be guilt. She's just done something that crossed a line, and now she's compensating. She's trying to convince herself she's still a good partner. She's using you to soothe her conscience. Or worse, she's riding an emotional high from him, and you're benefiting from the overflow. The energy isn't for you. It's just spilling onto you because she's so full of it. Either way, the pattern is the same. Her emotional state toward you becomes dependent on her emotional state with him. You're no longer the source of her feelings. You're the receiver of whatever's left over. Here's how a man described it to me once. He said he could always tell when his girlfriend had been texting the other guy. If she came to bed happy and touchy, it meant they'd had a good conversation. If she came to bed silent and distant, it meant they'd fought. He became a barometer for a relationship he didn't even know existed. He was reading her moods, but her moods were being written by someone else. That's what it looks like when another man exists. Your emotional reality becomes a shadow of something happening outside your awareness. You feel the effects without understanding the cause. And by the time you connect the dots, the picture is already complete.